All right, today we are going to be fixing an iPhone 11 Pro. The front screen is pretty cracked up, and when it came on they said it's just a bunch of black and the LCD's all damaged, so we're going to try to repair this. So here's a few tools. You don't have to have those tweezers, but the anti-static tweezers. You're going to need this PENTELOBE screwdriver. Also, you're going to need this Phillips screwdriver, and then also a Y screwdriver, and a pry tool of some kind. The Sesamo tools work the best. This is a screen I bought from gadgetfix.com. I'll leave a link in the description so you can get one if you like this video. Always take it out and kind of compare it to the phone just to see where the cables are. And as you can tell on this one, they're kind of on the right hand side, up close to the middle. So we want to make sure we're careful around that area. So you want to take your PENTELOBE screwdriver, and you're going to take out these two screws at the bottom. If you've ever repaired an iPhone of any other kind, you know that these two screws are pretty customary. They come out, they all use the same type of screwdriver, and this is the only time you really use it. Once you take those two screws out, you're going to go ahead and start using your pry tool. This is a Sesamo tool, but if you have a different pry tool, that's fine. You just want something thin that can get underneath the screen. Sometimes this phone has never been repaired before, so the waterproof seal is on there pretty good. So all I'm going to do is be going around the edges just little by little. And when you're prying, pry up against the LCD because it's already damaged, so you're not going to cause any more harm. Don't pry into the phone. So pry up towards the LCD screen and just go all the way around. Remember, right here, you don't want to go in too far. There's two cables that if you cut, it's not a big deal, but there's also a third one. If you cut, it's going to cause you more problems. You're going to have to end up buying an extra piece. So we want to cut that out. Once you do that, you're going to open it from left to right, just like a book. And then you're going to want to remove these 8 screws. So there's going to be 6 screws up here. And when you're taking these screws out, we're going to be using a Y screwdriver, by the way. But when you take these screws out, make sure you're laying them exactly how you pulled them out. I'm trying to pull that up right now and realize I missed one screw. But these screws are all different sizes, so you want to make sure when you pull them out, we're going to put them in the exact same way. So just line them up, just like you can kind of see over there on the right-hand side how I line them up, one at the bottom, one at the top, and I'll lay the shield right next to it. Then once you do that, you can take your fingernail. I just grabbed these tweezers because I wanted to make sure I didn't cause any damage, and I got underneath it, and I pried up the battery. The battery is always the first cable you like to get rid of, or to pry up, just so there's nothing running through the phone. And then we're going to pull up the digitizer, the LCD, and then your front camera cable. I just grabbed the cables pretty low, and they seem to pull up just fine. But if you want to use that tweezer method, that's fine as well. Once you get up here, these 3 screws must come out. You're going to be using a Y screwdriver. The 2 screws on the right-hand side, like I said, make sure you're laying these out exactly the same way that you're pulling them out. It makes it a lot easier when we put them back. That screw right there is super tiny, so don't lose that one. Once you do that, you're going to pry this open. And what I like to do is get underneath this plastic piece. And when you pull that plastic piece open, this like top little microphone area comes loose, and everything just kind of starts popping out because these cables are very fragile, and if you cause any damage, you can mess this up. And then I flip it around and grab it from the other side and just pop it loose. And that's really it. You've taken the screen off already. This is a really quick repair. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to put this back on the new screen the exact same way that we took it off the old one. Not a lot to it, like I said. Pretty simple. I'm just pushing this in here to make sure everything fits in flush. And when you lay this top piece on, you can look at the top, and if everything's flush, then you're pretty much good. And you're going to take those 3 screws that you pulled out earlier, and if you laid them out the exact same way that you pulled them out, this is going to be super simple to put them back. Like I said, this screw is tiny, super tiny. So you want to make sure your screwdrivers are magnetized. If they're not magnetized, I can show you how to do that. I have a video on how to do that. But once again, you want to make sure you're putting the screw in the hole that you took out, because these screws are longer and some of them are shorter. And if you put a long screw in one of these short holes, you can cause the screen to be damaged. And if you put a short screw in one of the long holes, it's not going to hold. It's just going to come loose. So you're only going to cause problems. And that's all we're doing. Like I said, just screwing this in. Once we screw those 3 down, we're going to go ahead and grab our phone, and we're going to start connecting our cables to the actual phone itself. This first cable is going to be your front mic, your proximity sensor, whatnot. This one will be your digitizer and your LCD. And once you get all these connected, the last one you want to do is your battery, just to send power through it. So we're still just connecting. Sometimes they don't want to go down. When you connect them, they're almost going to feel like a little Lego piece. It's going to connect. You're going to hear like a little snap. And once you do that, I just keep pushing on top to make sure that they're in there pretty good. And then I'll connect the battery at the very end. I went ahead and tried to turn this phone on. It was dead. So I put a charger on it. So I'm feeling pretty good about this screen now. So we're going to go ahead and open it up, and we're going to start putting all the screws back that we took out, which in all honesty is 8. So this is not a bad repair at all. Super quick, super simple. Anybody can do it. We're going to put this shield on, put these 6 screws back, and then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. There's 2 more screws. My camera did turn off here at the end, so you won't see everything. But once you put all these 8 screws in, you're basically just going to lay the new screen back down, and you're going to start from the top, and you're going to push all little connectors back in and make sure that everything is flush. Sometimes the bottom won't be a little bit flush, so you can take your pry tool and kind of stick it in the bottom and kind of maneuver it around so you can sit the screen in. But sometimes the screen goes on just fine. So like I said, my camera dies, but after I screw in these 8 screws, all I do is lay the phone screen back down, and then I put the 2 Pentelobe screwdrivers in, and that's it. This is an iPhone 11 Pro repair. Like I said, it's super simple. Anybody can do it. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know. This isn't the only way to do it. Thank you, guys.